Action.
We're back. That's all you got to say right now. We're back.
And that'll do it for tonight, folks. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next year. Welcome back to Health We Know podcast. It's been a minute. We are the college football podcast of all the college football podcasts. And yeah, we've been off for a few months, enjoying our summers, but it's somehow that time again to start talking about college football. We have games that are happening in about 3-4 weeks now. So we're going to start off by doing the previews for each of the conferences. We're going to start with the Big 12 and go from there. What have we learned, I guess, in the off season about college football? Is there anything, one particular thing that you could nail it to, or a couple things?
Well, two things for me. First, let me go and get this out of the way. Adidas apparel, officially Adidas school in the 1st of July now, went away from Nike.
Okay.
This is Adidas' flagship school.
Okay.
I was lukewarm to that because I dig the Nike stuff. But
Right.
Tasha picked this shirt up for me there at the local Dick's Sporting Goods. Shout out Dick's Sporting Goods. So it's good. So we're rolling with that. So we'll see how that turns out. The shoes they put out some shoes for Josh Heupel for SC Media Days that were fire. Awesome.
Really? I gotta look them up.
One of one though. Yeah, you pull up a picture. Those shoes are amazing.
Okay.
One of one they made, and then the ones they put out for regular people to buy are not great. Not their best.
No. Oh, really?
No. Yeah, I don't know. The first one's not gonna be all that good. So we'll see if they get better. But Heupel's at Media Days was awesome.
All right, those are great. The orange and white with classic Adidas.
I don't know if you could screen share that or not, but yeah, they were nice, and I was like, oh, well, I'm buying those right now, and then went on. It said it was one of the guys on VolQuest said it was one of one per Adidas. So,
okay, well,
I'd have bought them. They would have took a lot of money. I'd have had to ask forgiveness for that purchase. I don't care how much they would have been. I would have owned them. Yeah, look at them, man.
I assume it's these, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
It. Those are nice, man. And then if you'll just search the Adidas Tennessee shoe, the latest one, it's got the orange with the gray stripes on it. They're not fantastic. Yeah, that one in the middle. Yeah. Nah, they don't do anything for me.
No, they're fine. They're just nothing.
I think you could have done the orange stripes on that and left kind of the gray out, or made the whole shoe gray with some white against it and the orange or something, and maybe even better. There's a lot happening there.
It's like the colors are reversed or something. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But those Heupel has on his feet, man.
Those are great.
Those are good looking shoes. So, all right, that be that as it may. All right. What did I learn? The main thing is just when you think NIL and college football can't get any crazier and wilder and wackier, a story comes down the line that totally blows up what you thought was already as bad as it could get. So that's pretty much it. We're not out of the woods yet, folks. This thing is, we're in the middle of the wilderness, alone and lost in this NIL thing, until it gets sorted out, whenever that may be. But we're going to talk about Sorsby, gambling $90,000 because he gets paid to so now he can gamble with the money he's getting paid.
And the judge says, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. Whatever.
You got quarterbacks that are eligible per judge, like Chambliss in Mississippi. Then you got another judge in Knoxville, Tennessee, says, no, Joey A can't play again, guys. Sorry, this is not cool at all.
Right.
They just suspended Arian Carter for 2 games. It was 3 for paying back. NFL flew him out for a NFL tryout, $475 plane ticket. He paid it back, and they still suspended him for 3 games, and they appealed it and made it 2.
For
$475.
Yeah.
$475 that he paid.
Right, exactly. It's just, there's no reason to have NCAA at this point. Like, we're way off topic here, but we'll lead with that. We're bearing the lead. The NCAA is a joke. Nothing has changed since January, when the college football playoff ended. It's still a clown show. It's arguably worse, and all the state, local judges making decisions that are not really reasonable or applicable. It's just confusing things more. we'd be better off going back to when it was like in 1990 when they had ties and everything in games.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
I'm a big proponent of getting paid, but now we're just opening up more loopholes, more confusion, more issues, more drama. And here we are talking. We're leading with drama, nonsense, off the field stuff, as opposed to, all right, what's the best matchup of the year going to be, or week 1 or week 10 or whatever. So
and we'll get
to that. We'll get to that. So we'll get there. Yeah.
I don't think you can. So, there's two things.
What else did we learn?
There's two things on the podcast that if people are just starting to listen now, if they just start to hear the content after we make all this, it's going to be how did Florida State beat Alabama last year? That's one.
Yes. That's still applicable year later, nearly a year later.
And two, if anytime two people get on and talk about college football, the NCAA and how trash they are is going to be mentioned. You can't talk about football and not mention how bad that is. So,
right. Yes. In fact, it's we should just have banners that scroll like a ticker. NCAA is a clown show. NCAA is a clown show. Just scrolling bottom
like the tickers the news sources had on when COVID. Had to run across the bottom.
Exactly like that. Right. Just statements of facts in this case. Like, it's useless. And but it's back. Hey, look, the all that said, college football's back. So soon we will have actual games to discuss. Post game, let's have all this preseason stuff. So we're glad to be back. I know I'm speaking for both of us. We're both said glad to be back. Our summers went by like that as usual, but here we are. At least there's something to look forward to for the next few months to be miserable about. So let's get started. We're going to start with a Big 12. We'll work our way up from week to week to the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, or SEC, and then we'll talk about who we think are going to be in the playoffs, the title winners, Big 10 championship winners, SEC, etc., week to week, and then we'll do a final preview of the season. But we're going to start with the Big 12. To quick recap what the Big 12 ended last year. Share this here. So as you can see here, the records at the end of the season are Texas Tech, a playoff team. Texas Tech ended up 12-2, BYU 12-2, Utah 11-2. So some big changes, some things to talk about at the top there, and a lot of, we'll say that a lot of the betting odds, for example, are on Texas Tech to repeat to win this and to make a title. Now, there's a lot that's happened, both positively and negatively for Texas Tech for that to happen. I know you don't necessarily agree with Texas Tech as the winner, but so let's jump into that. We'll talk about some of the things they lost and some of the you can go generally speaking what they lost and what some of the big pickups for them, and Utah and losing coaches to a particular place, for example. It's kind of a big thing. That's the first time in 20 years of new coach there in Utah. So I'll let you kick it off. Where do you want to start at? Maybe you want to give the first, the top 2 or 3 teams, and then try to sort out where you want to rank them. Or
I just did the top 5, and
okay, sure.
And when I was doing my homework here earlier today, cramming a little bit, one thing I noticed is a top heavy league. The top 5 teams, how I did is the projected win totals, and then I just rounded to the nearest one. If it was 7.4, I did 8-4, right? That, so on and so forth. But the one thing I noticed right away that jumped off was it's top heavy league. The top 5 teams have a projected record of 45-16, right? The bottom 11. Oh, we should point out there's 16 teams in the Big 12. It's not the Big 16. That's not.
Just to be clear.
That doesn't sound as good.
4.
Big 12 plus 4. Yep. So, but the bottom 11 have a combined record of outlook of 67 and 65. So it's all at the top are really good, and then a lot of hosh posh 500 or so in that from 6 down through 16. So
right. Well, maybe we can start with just a couple of comments about those notable teams that are in the bottom, right? Because there are a couple coaches, couple of schools that are like what's going to happen going forward here? They're probably not going to have great success, but
No.
there's some interesting things. And what I want to point out is like one Colorado who went 3-9 last year, I believe it was. I don't know they're going to get better. Dion has some health issues. Is this the last year we see Deion Sanders on the sidelines at Colorado?
I,
I think it's possible, maybe probable, and with how they're trending.
I think you could make a good bet on if Dion makes it through the whole year without quitting.
Yeah,
I think I would be surprised, especially if it starts to go in the toilet, which it could. Um, they're projected at 5-7, 3-6 in conference, bottom of the league. I mean, for a guy like Dion that
yeah,
did so well on the lower level football, and it's just it's not translating because he went to Colorado. He didn't choose a school
no,
wisely. That's one.
right,
And
right,
two, it's Colorado, man. It's hard to win there. Now you could
right,
5 years ago I'd have said the same thing about Texas Tech. Look at them. So, but
sure,
if somebody
sure,
had to throw a lot of money at Colorado NIL to make that happen for him. But I think with the health
right,
issues and it going south on them, from the research I did, they're supposed to have a pretty decent squad. Just trying to, see if they could figure something out. They're picked pretty much last. Them in West Virginia. I mean, they might finish, you know, bottom, maybe third, maybe get up to the top 2/3, maybe, something like that,
sure,
and, and,
sure,
and build up a little bit. But because, I mean, West Virginia, Iowa State, UCF, Kansas, those are all draw them out of a hat, and they could finish
right,
anywhere from that
right.
11 to 16 range. So
I agree.
for
Yeah,
for me, I think it's what draws my eyes Baylor and Dave Aranda. That's one guy I didn't
sure.
think would fail. He started off really good,
No,
and it's just
I
not went
agree.
well since then.
I don't know, and I'm with you because I think I've been wrong the last couple of years. Thinking, no, he's going to turn it
Yep,
around. Now I'm like, y'all believe it when I see it at this point. He's not put it together for whatever reason. There's a lot of reasons I'm sure, but this is just surprising. Um, a couple other notables is Iowa State has a new head coach, of course. Matt Campbell took the Penn State job and took some talent with him, including quarterback, tight end, defensive players. So they're gonna, feel that as is predicted by the odds makers. West Virginia has a new coach, kinda again. Rich Rod is back in the homeland, and I would think that things go well. He just ended his career there. Maybe he should have
I think
stayed
so.
there back in '07. So here we are, almost 20 years later, and he's
I'm sure you
back
wish you'd
home.
have stayed.
Um, I sure do, sure do. That didn't work out very well. Did not very work out very well. Otherwise, yeah, you're right about the top or the bottom few teams. They're just interchangeable. They're all
Yeah.
a quarterback or an offensive lineman or two from being 2, 3, 4 wins, right? So
Yes.
it's going to be a battle for the bottom. There's a bunch of teams in the middle there. Like you're going to say Houston, maybe Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State with a new coach. They might see a little bit of bump, but they still are going to be lacking some talent. But otherwise, yeah, we could just get to talking about the top 5, 6 teams and what not necessarily what order you have them in right now, but what are those teams that you have?
I've got top six is BYU, Texas Tech, and this, spoiler. I'll go ahead and just give you my rundown on it. We'll talk about it, but
Yeah,
it's BYU, Texas Tech,
sure.
Arizona, Kansas State, Utah, and then of course TCU being six. TCU's on that they do such a good job, and the Patterson he's just out there and just doing his thing, and no one has snatched him up. People have talked to him. Tennessee has talked to him a time or two. He just kind of like Whittingham. He just kind of stays where he is
Just
until
yep,
maybe just the right school hasn't come calling. Who knows? But they're just kind of at six
right.
right there on the outside looking in the top five. But they could easily finish 4 or 5, I think, in this league.
Yeah. I might say my top handful are pretty similar. I do have Texas Tech as the top team, and that's mostly because their schedule is pretty lame. We can talk about that later, but other than a trip to Houston and maybe not late September, it's that they should be able to walk through the season, nearly undefeated. Otherwise, I got BYU, Kansas State, Houston, or maybe Houston, TCU, and maybe Utah. The only thing about Utah is like, the continuity thing after having
Right.
coached for 21 years, like, and losing some, elite talent on both sides of the ball to Michigan and then elsewhere to the NFL. I wonder how things are going to go there. I mean, it's year one. That coach has been around there for a long time defensive coordinator, so he knows the school. There's no surprises there. But when it's yours to
It's different.
own, it's different, man. It's just different, right? It doesn't matter if you're the assistant to the athletic director or the head coach or whatever. When it's all on your shoulders, boy, that the heat cranks up, and you're responsible for everything, not just your position coaches or your position players or the players on your side of the ball, the whole thing. So that's the only thing about Utah I would be a little concerned about. They have Dan Pierre back, quarterback, and they have great running backs. But from there, offensive line's gonna be retooled. I just have a hard time seeing Utah, fighting for a chance in the Big 12 title. Otherwise, the team at Kansas State with new coach Chris Klein, of course, they got rid of Klein Munn. They had to go to Klein. That must have been easy for the janitor to change the label on the door to his office, just to rearrange a few letters. Former K-State guy.
Won a title for him.
Won a title
Big 12 title for him. Yeah.
That was the first time they won one, I think, and when he was there. It's been a couple minutes since he'd been there, but like he's been around the school and knows the school, so that seemingly was a great fit. Of course, everyone thought Scott Frost going to Nebraska was going to be a great fit, and that did not work out very well either.
No.
So there are instances where it's not always a good idea to bring someone home.
Quick question.
Not everyone. Yeah.
Not everyone. But
yes.
How the coach obviously plays a huge part in that, but then the school plays a huge part in that too. I mean, Scott Frost going to Nebraska, like you said, seemed like a marriage that was going to last forever. It's bring him home, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. I would say it's going to be hard as hell to win at Nebraska, no matter who you.
Oh yeah, right.
Who you put in there, pick a coach. The only coach I could say would win at Nebraska without one question down in my mind would be Nick Saban. If he went to Nebraska would win.
They'd figure something out.
Other than that,
right.
I got nobody else. Like I got nobody else. They would guarantee be a winner. A fat dude walk through the door and in 5 years be competing for a national championship, maybe sooner. And it'd be other than Saban, I got nobody.
They haven't been relevant in 25 years. I mean, in hindsight, they should have just kept Frank Solich and just, rolled on, or Bo Pelini and ride along. But like they just couldn't quite get there, and now they're just in perpetual, just mediocre land. Basically, I can't seem to pull off a big win. Even one of them, they lose several games by a field goal or less, or last second possession, or Hail Marys. Like they just are snake bit program. And I don't know, maybe it's if there's such thing as karma, it's because all the shit they pulled off in the 80s and 90s, winning titles and stuff in the time I was born.
college football is so far ahead of them. It's going to be hard for them to catch up. I mean, the game as a whole has left Nebraska in the rearview mirror by a long, long way. And it's why it's going to be hard. And you're going to have to throw a lot of money at it. And then you still got to convince kids, hey, come live in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right.
There's that too. It's not, I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's just not going to be easy no matter who you put in there. So I think out of 100% of the failure Scott Frost had in Nebraska, I'd go 50-50. I really would. Right. I'd go 50-50 to that failure.
Although it's interesting, the football or the basketball team, men's basketball team,
they're pretty good.
Wildly surpassed the football program. So maybe they need to switch for their where all their resources go to.
And then the football team just have all white guys. That seemed to work for Nebraska basketball. Just do all white guys.
White guys, and go back to using some some syringes. Syringes and weight room and whey and trend, whatever you need to do.
Performance enhancement.
What you're doing now. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, So that so back to BYU, gonna be a good again. They get a long time coach has been there for 10 years now. Actually, I think this is his tenure. Um, they had a shot to be in the playoffs as well, but Texas Tech is the team to beat. I guess I think even with the quarterback situation be a problem. Obviously Sorsby would have changed that tremendously. He's talented,
Yeah,
but
that'd
he's a
change my
knucklehead.
prediction.
Yeah.
Right.
So now Will Hammond is the quarterback, but he's coming off. Well, maybe he's coming off an ACL tear back in October. So you got to wonder if if he's not going to start the season, but where they're going to go from there. But their schedule, and they have enough talent on defense. Um, and some offensive playmakers that I think they can probably skate by. Now, I don't know that they're going to make a run in the playoffs,
No.
but their schedule is just so like it's
Right.
so easy.
It is. When I look, I picked Texas Tech second in the Big 12, and the reason I did is because Sorsby not being there. That's number one. But they, of course, a quarterback like you hit on it.
Right.
Hammond's off a torn ACL. Then it's a Tulsa transfer and a true freshman. That's the
Right.
quarterback room at Texas Tech.
Right.
Now they didn't need him last year until they needed him.
So there's that. Right.
Yeah. And then they didn't score a point when against Oregon. So
yes,
at some point you got to have good quarterback play if you're going to win a championship. That just has to happen.
Right.
Schedule's easy. They dodge BYU, Utah, and Kansas State. Dodge all three of those teams. Paul picked top five in the conference, so that's not
amazing.
That's not bad. I got them going undefeated in the Big 12. I got them going undefeated to being 12-0. But we'll talk when we talk about BYU more. I'll give my reason why. But
yeah, I think it'd be hard pressed to disagree with them going. Maybe there's I don't know, like the one game that gets slipped up, maybe that Houston game, but like I just they're well coached. I think that they're going to be good. I think I agree with you, and your main point is that they'll go by this season, regular season, perhaps undefeated, but they have very little shot of making a run on an actual title when they're going to be up against an Indiana or Miami or Ohio State, etc. So that said, let's see here. I'll pull up the rankings here. So I was looking for their schedule because I wanted to just hammer it home.
Yeah, there's not much happening. They don't have. It's not a hard schedule. It'll be pretty easy to negotiate for them, just like it was last year. I said I don't think they're going to have any trouble going undefeated. Their problem's going to be, in my opinion, when they run into BYU in the Big 12 championship game. That's going to be an issue, and we'll talk about BYU because that's why I got them picked first. I got them winning the Big 12, but when they run to be, and then like you said in the playoff, they better get a good draw in the playoff, or they're going to get same as last year, same song as last year.
Right. Yeah. Look at their schedule. Like the first three. They Houston at home at home. The late September, middle September, and then they can cruise through. Maybe Arizona State's tough, but that's at home. Arizona's at home. TCU is at home. Like,
yeah,
they got to travel to Colorado. Is going to be a bad team. Cincinnati, mediocre at best. Oklahoma State, mediocre at best. Baylor, probably what we've been seeing that we talked about earlier. That's just not a schedule that if you're if you're a Texas Tech fan, you get too worried about, other than maybe 2 or 3 games, and that's all on paper right now. We'll see what some of those teams look like. Sonny Dykes and TCU, that should be a good team. Like they have this. They've been winning 9 games every year. Like that, so they could be. Arizona's got an established coach now. Has been there. I think this is year 3 or 4 for him. So yeah, it's just a schedule that's.
Correct that. I meant Dykes when I was saying Patterson about TCU earlier.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You said Dykes. I'm like, yeah, dang it. I didn't. I had that on my brain, and I was like, and you said Dykes.
Same
like,
guy.
Oh shit, yeah, of course, yeah, that's okay.
They're the same guy.
I'm thinking way back for Patterson. So okay.
Yeah, well, I think Dykes been there. Well, he was there. It was 5 years, I think, maybe 6 years.
He's been there a minute. Like
yeah. So yeah, there's the schedule for that. Let's look at the other schedules here. Like we're going to start off that first couple weekends. Like we should actually wait till because none of these early games matter too much until they get into conference games. So That's even the 1st. That's the 5th. Oops, let's go to the next weekend. So I guess this is this Friday night game. That'd be interesting to watch. It's a Friday night game. That's good.
What do we say about Friday night games, Delaney?
Be careful. They're just be happy they're not going on the road, right?
Right.
That's your only saving grace. Remember, well, of course, we watched again. I'm going to say it again. It's been about 25 minutes or so. But how did Florida State beat Alabama? I don't know. We realized Florida State's a clown show the next week when they go to Virginia and lose in convincing fashion too. So Friday night games should be scary. I would not. I'd like to reschedule that if I'm Texas Tech.
If it was away from home, I definitely would.
Absolutely.
Like, we ain't playing.
Right. No, we ain't playing. No, we ain't playing. So let's pull up BYU's schedule here because they're at the top 2 or 3 teams as well. So nothing to they got Arizona week 2, so that's out of the gate. That's a good game matchup. They go to TCU. They got Notre Dame at home. That's going to be a huge one for them as far as like playoff implications, because that's a team, Notre Dame. I don't think we're spoiling anything that they have. A great team. They're probably going to be they're absolutely going to be in a playoff hunt. So playing them at home, Notre Dame at home, that could be huge for their resume.
Especially if they're undefeated. Both undefeated.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Which is,
possible.
Probable, almost. Yeah. I mean, there's this game here at TCU. Otherwise, there's nothing else terribly scary. Maybe the Arizona game gives them a little interesting, but then they can cruise to, get Arizona State home. They got the Holy War early November again, which I think is going to be a somewhat down Utah team. And then, the couple last games of the year, they should be in good shape. But yeah, it's a BYU team that they just do BYU things. They're going to end up with 9-10 wins and on the brink of good, bad. It's going to be a couple games. It's going to be that Notre Dame game, which is not obviously a conference game, but it might playoff implications, and probably maybe at TCU, and that Arizona State game maybe at home or Arizona at home. There's just a couple games that they have to kind of worry about as far as getting to a Big 12 title. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but worrying about long-term playoff run, getting back to the Big 12 game, title game. This looks pretty doable too.
I think
they could just bolster their record with a couple of big wins, and then at least making things really interesting against Notre Dame at the very minimum to help their playoff resume.
Yeah,
who was? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, say that's why I've BYU winning the Big 12. Bear Brockmeyer's back, great freshman year.
Yes,
1,300-yard rusher. LJ Martin will be running the ball. Great running back, and they had 16 defenders that had 200 snaps or more on defense last year total. 10 of those guys come back, so they're going to be improved on defense. And I got them
the
at
one
11
caveat there. I will say they did lose their D coordinator Jay Hill to Michigan.
Yep.
So again, continuity thing. Maybe that's important. They replaced him with a guy who's been there for a while too, though. So maybe that helps take away some of that sting. But sorry, go ahead. I just want to throw that nugget in there.
Yeah, and having the experience coming back will help that. Having all those players coming back on defense will help that. Scheme wise and stuff like that, they ain't probably much going to change when it comes to who they go to. So, and then there 3 games: Arizona, TCU, and Notre Dame. I think they go. They lose one of those 3. I think those are 3 tough games. I think they drop one of them to finish 11-1, and then get Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. So that's how I've got BYU first. But I'd get to Notre Dame. That might be. Is that if Notre Dame's undefeated and BYU's undefeated? Is that the biggest home game? And I mean, one of the biggest ones in history, in modern history.
It would have to be there. There's been some Utah Holy War games have been big. Both teams are really good. But how many teams travel out there to BYU and play on the road like that? That would be something like this, as a Florida or Clemson traveled. I doubt it. I don't think they'd go to Provo. That's just
why would you?
Unlikely. So I would exactly. But this game here, it's already circled. I'm sure that I can't imagine what the tickets are going for even right now. By Notre Dame fans alike, probably, right?
Oh yeah.
Catholics and Mormons going at it.
So that's another holy wars. Holy wars all over the place out there.
Right, exactly. Right. So I wonder if that means that there's going to be some extra some restaurants getting a temporary bar license for all the Notre Dame fans coming out there that the Mormon fans will take advantage of. But is there such thing as a weekend pass for restaurants and liquor licenses?
they needs to be that weekend. They need to pass a law or something. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure if BYU loses that game, the Mormons usually have multiple wives. I mean, they could beat multiple wives in one trailer out there.
This is true.
If they drop that game. So I mean, it's not wife beater out there. It's wives beater.
Wives beater, right?
Plural. That's what you wear. Yeah.
All right. So who is your third team there?
I had Arizona
Utah right there. Arizona. Okay, let's go.
I dropped Utah because what we've talked about with Kyle Whittingham leaving and stuff, the continuity, like you were mentioning earlier. I agree with you. I think it's Arizona. They got a returning quarterback. Noah, was that Fafita? His last name?
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's an athlete.
Fourth year there.
Yeah,
seasoned guy. Seen a lot of football.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Yeah, I got them third. 9-3. I got them 9-3, going 9-3. BYU, they got a tough schedule. They get BYU, Texas Tech, TCU, Utah, Kansas State, and Arizona State. They go 3-3 in that 6.
Right.
Go 3-3 in that 6. Finish 9-3.
I think that's reasonable because they'll get by Northern Arizona, Northern Illinois, Wazoo.
Yep.
And the rest of them, but that's tough. So they get Kansas State on the road, Texas Tech on the road.
Yeah, that's an L probably.
BYU on the road. I mean, yeah, those just there's three of those. They got to win it. They got to sweep the home games to pull that off. Like to be sure that they get to that 3-3 in those half dozen games. So, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna look and see if BYU's the schedule here because I was gonna show the ticket prices for the Notre Dame as low as $500.
As low as. They should never put those words in front of that number.
Right. So the Holy War game is lowest, about $300. That's all before fees and stuff too. So, folks, if you want a cheap ticket to a game, I guess you might want to think about going to UCF, travel to Central Florida, and enjoy a nice time in Florida in late October.
Right. The thing with it is if you're a BYU fan, that's a tough trigger to pull right now because you don't know what they're going to be. If if Brymar gets hurt, something like that, and they're not good, you paid $500 to go watch your teeth get kicked in by Notre Dame, or you wait and hold your breath, and then if they're both undefeated, that $500 you wish you would have paid that because you're not getting in the door for anything under $1,000 anymore.
Oh no!
And so, what do you do?
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, the Bears back, baby. He was it's a fun name, but he was good. Like he was productive for 17, 18-year-old kids. So, I'm with you. They're right there. I like that roster. And then you said Arizona, and then would you have TCU from there?
K-State.
I'm sorry, K-State. I meant K-State. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. Yeah, had K-State fourth.
Their schedule.
Colin Klein taking over. I got them going 8-4. I mean, you look at the schedule. Their schedule's not that. I mean, it's the Big 12. So if you can pillage the bottom, 11 teams, you can have a pretty good record. I just don't know it's going to get you anywhere.
Yeah. No, exactly. Right. Like, I mean, you get, Arizona at home. You got to go to TCU, on the road to Arizona State. You got Houston at home. You avoid Tech, right? You avoid BYU and Utah. So in theory, I mean, they should.
Yeah, you could.
They could.
See,
I mean, if I can squint and see 9-10 wins there. If they come out and play really well, Avery Johnson has another year under his belt.
Yep.
Hopefully, his dad or brother not fighting each other in the stands like they did in Ireland or whatever last year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can see him finishing third in that league in the regular season behind Tech and BYU. with that schedule.
Absolutely.
As far as when it just straight wins, I mean, you can go. They play 9 games in that conference, 9-game conference.
Right.
You know,
Right.
8-1, it's on the table.
I don't think that's
Seven and
improbable at all.
two. You know,
Yes.
7-2 is probably the likely where they land. They got them predicted at 6-3. You know, I think with that schedule, I mean, I would submit if they can get anything out of Johnson, you could probably closer to 8-1 than you are 7-3, in my opinion. But
Sure. Right.
or not 7-3, 7-2. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see, but that's that besides BYU, this is just fun football conversations we've not done in a while. Besides
Uh-huh.
BYU and Texas Tech, there ain't a single one of these teams we're going to talk about have a prayer at the playoff. Not a single
No.
one.
No. No. And let's say, just for fun, that let's say, Kansas State exceeds expectations, sneak into the Big 12 title game, somehow manage to upset Texas Tech. Even if they get in the playoffs, they have no shot at moving forward any more than
No.
Tech would, or anyone else, honestly, right? They just don't have the horses. Maybe we'll be wrong. I just don't see Klein being the next, great coach that's going to take Indiana to the national
Right.
championship game. I know that's an outlier, but all things are possible now when you have donation NIL money and
Yep.
you can have a elite coaching. Um, so yeah, I by and large agree with what you had for that. I think that Tech can win the regular, get into the Big 12 title game relatively easy, and what they do from there against BYU, or perhaps TCU if they pick it up, or Kansas State. I just don't know until we see what they could get out of the quarterback position. Right? They didn't need
Right.
much last year, but you're gonna need something to not get hammered by the next playoff team you play. So
They
um,
got by with mediocre quarterback play last year. I have a tough time seeing that happen twice, 2 years in a row.
right, right,
It's got to
right,
get them eventually earlier than the playoff, right? I mean, they
right.
they played elite defense and got good enough quarterback play, ran the ball good enough to get to a college football playoff game and win the Big 12. If they're in any
Yeah.
other conference, they're 2 or 3 losses probably, and they're not sitting where
Uh-huh.
they're sitting. So I run that whole schedule again and not be penalized for bad quarterback play, which we assume they'll have. It just doesn't add
Right.
up to me. It just
It
doesn't.
seems
I
unlikely.
trust the
Yeah.
quarterback at BYU.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's fair. And they did throw a bunch of money at uh, transfers and incoming freshmen.
Yep.
The Texas Tech, but it can only take you so far if you're not getting any production out of your quarterback play from down to down, or series to series. They lost, some meat off that defense up in the middle, D line and linebackers. Um, well, they replaced it with maybe some higher ceiling guys, but it's hard to get away from that production that they did have,
It
that we
is.
know they had last year. So,
Yeah, you feel like they have to
yeah,
take a step back, right? They got to take
right,
a step
right,
back on defense because they can't be any
right.
better than they was last year. Because they were
I would think,
fantastic last year.
right, exactly, right. I just have a hard time seeing it, but um, yeah. So, what else do we have to say about the Big 12? I mean, that we
Uh,
haven't already said.
right. The only nugget I had on here I didn't get out, but you touched on a little bit. 36 years Utah's had 3 coaches, 3 in 36 years.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
amazing.
don't know of another school that can boast that. I mean, there might be one out there at a lower level somewhere, but man,
Well,
what about
let's think.
Boise?
Boise's
How,
got to be, yeah.
how they had what that was it Hawkins or whoever they had at first, and then they
Mm-hmm.
had Chris Peterson for a long
Peterson.
time, and I don't know who they have now,
I can't.
but
Yeah, but I don't think it's
I'm not
been
who
that
they're.
long. Well,
No,
I
not
guess
36 years.
no, you could say, well, Penn State might be up there. If you have Paterno, then they went to Bill O'Brien, and then James Franklin. So that may be, because Franklin was there for what, 10, 11 years,
Yeah,
and Bill O'Brien was there for
He didn't last
3 or
long.
4 years, something like that. So, but to your point, not many. And it's been 21 years since Urban Meyer left Utah
Right.
and Whittingham took over. So that's a huge change for that program, and we'll see what they can do. Right? I mean, like again, um, they 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 switched to new coach right away. Um, they knew he was a coach in waiting anyway, so they just sort of expedited that. And yeah, depending who you asked, they were kind of said, "Hey, see you later, Whittingham," or like, "No, no, no, we want you to stick around indefinitely." It depends on who you ask, what you read, and which sports writer is writing the
Right.
story.
What do you think is there's two schools of thought when it comes to changing coaches.
Mhm.
And I've seen Tennessee do both, by the way. That's how come I can make this statement.
You're qualified,
It's not guaranteed either way, which we all know it's common sense.
right?
But
Right.
I see them go from Philip Fulmer, so two schools of thought. It's either blow the whole thing up and bring in someone brand new with new blood, no ties, or it's make it as seamless and as fast as possible and put a coach in right now to get the thing rolling again, and you're done. Don't waste
Yeah.
time on a search. Just find a guy, get a guy in there ASAP. Now, from Fulmer to Kiffin was the first one.
Yeah.
Fulmer gets, he's told he's leaving. He leaves. 08. They bring in some guy from the Lane Kiffin from the West Coast, has jack shit and knows about anything about Tennessee.
Right.
Just a brand. He just blows the whole thing up.
How'd that
And
go?
then,
I forget.
well, it was going fine until he decided, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm out of here.
I'm out.
That was the beginning of the Lane Kiffin train.
Yes.
And then there's the right after Lane Kiffin leaves, get a guy right now and put him in there. And that's what Tennessee did right after he left. They grabbed the first guy that would say yes, which was Derek Dooley. So of course he said yes, and brought him right on from a program from Louisiana Tech, was a losing program, never finished above 500 in all of his coaching career. You just got a guy to get a guy. You made it as fast and seamless as possible. Yeah. And so neither one is guaranteed. So if you were an AD, Delaney, what route would you go? It probably depends on your program's health, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah. It's tough because, as a Michigan fan, I saw them do similar things. Willie Carr retires.
Yeah.
They go out and they grab the hot name, right?
Yep.
Rich Rod, right?
Yep.
That's the hot name in 07. And at that point, it's like, cool. All right. Well, could work out way. Like he had some great talent there, but doing some good things. That didn't work out well. So what did Michigan do? They panicked and they hired the first guy who said he would walk across broken glass from San Diego State all the way to Ann Arbor to be the coach. That's Brady Hoke. That did not go very well either. Year one was success, beat Ohio State and had 11 wins, but that was sort of miracle wins in there. Yeah.
Right.
And then it just went downhill from there. And then what does Michigan do? They're like, we got to bring back our Lord and Savior, James Harbaugh. And,
worked
you
out.
got 9 years. I mean, it worked out in the end, right?
Took a little bit, but it worked out. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could argue he's a game, a win or so, a few plays from being in the playoffs in 2016. If he wins an Ohio State game, doesn't lose to Iowa that year. That's so. A couple other seasons in there are pretty mediocre, but then he wins a title. And then what they do, they panic and they hire a guy who has no head coaching experience, and he turned out to be a serial jerk offer. And so he lasted about a year, 2 seasons, I guess. And then now they decided, well, let's hire a guy who's 63 and may not be, on the downswing of his career, may or may not be wanted at Utah anymore. Still got some juice in him, apparently, but I don't know. Honestly, like you want to hire the best coach. And that's just sort of the AD speak there, right? You hire the best guy, whoever it is. But that's not always true. They don't always do that, right? Because there's the regents, there's donors. All these people have this influence. Like, you want cash, you're going to really think about hiring, Derek Dooley, or you're going to think about hiring Jeremy Pruitt, right? Like, okay, you sure about that? So I think you just have to find. It's tough because Florida is going to find out, right? If they're going to make another bad decision. right?
Right.
Like,
Well, we
I
talked
think
about
this
that
is
last year. I remember we had an
right.
episode where I said
Yes.
it's the same coach that just fired.
Yes.
Summerall and
Exactly.
Middle Napier, same coach. I went down the records, the winning percentages, all the same in the
It
conference,
was
and it's the
almost
same coach.
identical,
It's
right?
the same coach.
So
So
it's going to
yeah,
be interesting to see how that plays. That's one program that obviously you're going to keep your eyes on, but I am, for curiosity's sake, for the decision they made coaching. They had to move on, but if you just hired a twin brother, the DNA is the same, man.
right,
And you lost your elite tool quarterback. Now he didn't play well because he's upstairs not figured it out.
right.
By the way, it'd be hilarious if he goes to Baylor and makes Dave Aranda end up in the Big 12 title game.
He's got the tools to do it,
He's got the tools.
but so
That's
did
a
Joe
side.
Milton.
This
Just
is true,
saying.
Joe Milton. Yes, this is true.
So I
This
still
is true.
say one of the best coaching jobs in the SEC ever was Josh Heupel getting 8 wins out of Joe Milton.
Yes, absolutely.
Best coaching job
Yes.
I've ever seen.
I would agree 100%. That was remarkable. He should have won Coach of the Year for that.
You
Right.
made Joe Milton a good enough quarterback to want to set out the bowl game. That's what you did with Joe Milton.
What a crazy thing that was.
You made him set out of the bowl game. That's how good you made him.
Right. I got to that point. He's like, he is what he is.
Right.
So who do you hire? I guess I've been inclined to, it's the idea that you hire someone within to keep the continuity there, to keep the kids in the program best you can, to keep the donors happy, to, in theory, keep the same strength coach, same nutrition people, the same GM, whatever. Like, that's the way that you would think this would be the best. But at some point, it must be like, this what we've been doing for a decade or longer is not working. We're inbred to some degree. Let's just hit the reset button. And what do we have to lose? We're going to end up, with a mediocre program or worse with who we have.
Yep.
Let's take a shot. And I don't know that it's always the shot that you grab the next up and great, UCF coach or whatever it is, but
odds are you won't.
It's such a odds are you won't, right?
Odds are you ain't going to hit.
Favor.
You're not going to. Yep. You're not going to strike gold. Odds are you'll go through many quarterbacks. I watched Bammer go through a lot of coaches before they struck gold. They had to hit a lot of them, and that's just the way it is. And yeah, I agree. There was the saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting what you get.
Exactly right.
Well, that's Utah. I mean, you're going to keep the same people in charge. You're still going to keep getting the same 8-4s and 7-5s and 9-3s, and that's what you're always just going to be until you find that diamond in the rough, that superstar. You're not going to you're not hiring anyone on an elite level now. You got to strike gold with someone like they did Urban Meyer. Strike gold with someone and know that we got him for 4 or 5 years maybe, and he's gone to a bigger, better college, and hopefully he wins big while he's here, and we can celebrate that. That's what you do.
Parlay that into the next. Yeah. This is the place where the next great coach comes, and it's a stepping stone. But hey,
it sucks, but you are what you are.
It just is what it. Yeah, right. It just is what it is. So just be realistic about it. I just for shits and giggles picked up Derek Dooley's. Where is he at now? The last time he was a head coach was at Tennessee. He left at 12. He was with the Cowboys for wide receiver coach, Mizzou as offensive coordinator, the Giants as an analyst, the Giants as a tight end coach. And the last time he did anything with football in general, he was an offensive analyst for Alabama in 2023. So he hasn't done much coaching.
Now
he's only 58 years old too. He's not like he's super old.
He's got more. He got the buyout from Tennessee, so he's got more money he never spent.
Yeah, right.
And his offenses at Missouri were pretty good. He did a good job as offensive coordinator at Missouri. He really did. They wasn't bad. But he's not an NFL coach like you. It did take. Of course, it's hilarious. He goes to the Cowboys because that's where coaches go to die anyway. But
which is essentially what happened
every year. Yeah.
Right. So he's just done working apparently, which, hey, if you get a big checks like that from Tennessee, let's see, about 15 years ago now, you're in good shape. Right. analyst. Hasn't been a coach of any sort since 2019. Otherwise, he's just been an analyst. That's not true. Tight ends coached the Giants in 2021,
Yeah.
so about 5 years ago, he actually coached a position. So, that just boy, that did not go well. Did not go.
No, it did not. That everyone knew. Everyone at Tennessee knew we were doomed when they went to LSU and they won that whole game except the last 0 second because LSU was on the 2 yard line and they snapped the ball high over the guy's head, runs back, game's over. Tennessee leaves the sideline celebrating. 13 men on the field for Tennessee on defense. Called untimed down. Untimed down, they run in the end zone, score. Everyone knew right then.
He should have been fired. Like,
yeah.
You know what? We made a mistake. Can we just? Is there an out clause in this that says that you're, something?
Yeah. They tried to make a defensive substitution with the clock running down near 0, and LSU is getting sprinting to try to get a position to get that last snap off before the clock hits 0, and you try to run defense, not secondary people where they can run fast. No, you're bringing in defensive linemen.
Inside the numbers you got to get into.
You got to get inside the numbers and line up. And when they get to the line of scrimmage, they got to figure out the defensive linemen are dumb as shit. As they get to the defensive line, they're like, wait a minute, there's a guy in my spot. I'm the 3 technique, and there's already a 3 technique here.
There's already
they
3
just line up right beside him. And next thing you know, there's 13 damn people. It was a shit show, man. Yeah.
That's the most awful way to lose games. Just
so
something
bad.
like that. Hail Marys, dumb penalties, those kinds of things are just the worst. But
when he was coach, one last thing on Derek Dooley. The reason the rule is there now for the 10-second runoff is because of Derek Dooley in Tennessee. They were playing North Carolina. Right? Yeah, they were playing North Carolina in a bowl game. It was the
Music City Bowl, was it?
No, it was I want to say it was in Jacksonville, so whatever bowl that was, Gator Bowl or something. Anyway, North Carolina gets down there and they're getting ready to kick a long, actually about a 40-yard field, 35-yard field, something like that. But time runs out, but they false start, so they run an untimed field goal down to kick to get them to overtime. They won the game in overtime. That's the reason why they said, well, wait a minute, this isn't fair to the defense because that means you can just commit a penalty with time running out and get a free play.
Doesn't matter.
So 10-second runoff because of that game implemented.
Was that 2010?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this says 2010 Tennessee, Carolina. They played. It was the Music City Bowl, December 30th, 2010. So
in Nashville. Okay.
Nashville, yeah. Carolina won 30-27 in 2 OTs.
Yeah. got to overtime because of that play. So he backed the kid up 5 yards. He kicks the field goal, makes it, goes to overtime, and they win.
Well, he's got something in his career that he
does.
Monumental thing to point to in his tenure at Tennessee and in the college football coaches. So Texas Tech, BYU, perhaps Kansas State if they get on a run. I throw TCU in there perhaps too. Those are your teams that are more likely to end up Big 12 title game. Now, beyond that is kind of irrelevant.
Who cares?
I think, and you would agree, right? They don't. They'll be in the playoff, but only just because you get a spot, not necessarily because you can make a run at anything.
Right. And in my scenario, I mean, I've got Texas Tech going undefeated and BYU going 11-1, but BYU winning the Big 12 championship. That might get 2 Big 12 teams in.
Yeah, almost certainly will. Right?
I could. I would think teams in. Yeah.
Yeah. I would think so. If not, it's gonna be a hard one to justify not.
What'll suck for a Big 10 team or SEC team is what'll happen because one of them would get bumped out probably that are 10-2.
Exactly. Right. Right.
A 10-2 Michigan or a 10-2, who would be 10-2 in the SEC? Maybe like A&M or Ole Miss.
A&M maybe.
Do you put
perfect
10-2? Yeah.
A&M would be perfect because they just perpetually that's their ceiling and they can get in the playoff and do nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't care who coaches there.
It's the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's your Big 12 2026 season preview. I think we nailed it.
I think so.
This was I'd say easiest one to pick, perhaps.
Yes.
Of all the major other ones, ACC, Big Ten, and SEC. Yeah, so we'll be back with picks for what do we do next? ACC?
Probably. I think so.
Do them ACC.
I think
then
we'll do ACC, then we'll do
SEC.
SEC, then Big Ten. Because the Big Ten national champion was out of the Big Ten, so we'll do it that way. I think that's
save the best for last. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Oh, we're 55 minutes in, so we try to keep this to an hour, so we can hold the hosh posh questions for next week if you want to. But one of them is about that.
Let's do a couple of them. We got to keep it to an hour-ish, right?
Okay.
Well, hell, we've done 90 minutes in 2 hours before. We can a few extra minutes. Fine.
I'm not going to ask the SEC question then because we will be going back and forth on that one.
We'll sit on that. Okay.
So we'll sit on that one when we have more time. So we'll do just the two I have on my list here that come up first. Okay. First one. This is while we were off. America turned 250.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Delaney. Will America still be here in 250 more years?
Seemingly not at this rate. All good empires coming to an end, right?
It seems that way.
Our great grandchildren will be looking at something different altogether. I have a feeling. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Hell, we're around 50 each, and shit's gonna look different for us in the next 10, 15, 20 years if we make it that long.
Just think about how lucky we are as a generation, me and you.
Yeah.
We got to come from no electronics, no computers, no internet, no AI, no nothing. Back when they didn't have playoff systems in games for college.
Yes.
And we had to live through all that. We were the remote controls at our house. There was no streaming. You went, you took your ass outside. You took your ass outside and entertained yourself. Right? That's what you did. Yes. You didn't sit at home and play PlayStations and watch Netflixes and play Roblox.
Right.
That wasn't us. We're when we're gone, that's all.
It's over.
Shelby, and we'll never know any of that. Single thing of that. I've been wanting to buy a rotary phone if I could find one at a yard sale, make her dial my phone number and see what happens, and I'm going to video it because I think it'll be outstanding. And a tape deck. Yes. Make her load a tape deck up and play it and see how that goes.
Unless you're blowing mind and see a fucking record or something
Kids don't even want to drive anymore. They don't even want to drive anymore. I couldn't effing wait, man. Get me out of the house and get me my license right now. I'm gone.
100%. I was late for basketball practice, getting my license, and I had to run an extra sprints, and I'm just smiling the whole way. Whatever. Didn't matter. I'm getting my license on my damn birthday. That's what's happening. It's right. It's
different.
Other than watching cartoons on Saturday morning for a couple hours, your day was spent outside or playing Nerf on your, ripping the doors off the hinges in your bedroom because you're dunking too hard and stuff like that. Getting yelled at for jumping too much and when you're in the upstairs bedroom. It's just different. And like these kids, you can't undo what they know now.
Nope.
Like
it's open.
It's just gonna get worse, right? I mean, I just don't see things looking the same. And obviously, technology will change by then. Like 250 years, there won't be. It'll be all satellites or Wi-Fi. It's not like cellular one's not working where I'm at this part of the country. Like you won't have that problem anymore, which is good. But I'm not sure everything else that come with it, with the AI and whatnot that we're seeing now. That sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two. Was that real? Was it AI? I'm just not sure. It's getting more confusing.
It's already
sometimes.
Getting that way.
Sometimes because it's is this shit real? Well, some of the shit we see every day, I don't know if it's real or not anymore. So
there's some TikToks there's some TikToks on a certain group chat that I don't know if they're real or not when I'm watching them. They could be real. They may not be. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Absolutely. It is entertaining nonetheless. Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
And what was it? You had one more?
One more.
Okay.
This is pretty easy. World Cup. Yes,
Yeah. I don't.
no, not a chance. Didn't watch anything. A little bit lukewarm. What?
I couldn't be. I could know less than the next person. I know. I think that did Spain win? I can't remember. I don't know. I know the U.S. There's the only thing I know. I like bits and pieces. The U.S. was actually competitive. One of their
Yep.
players got a red card. Was able to play the next game against
Belgium.
Germany. Belgium. I was like Germany. It's close.
Yep.
Same ballpark. Europe. They lost. They got their ass kicked, and they went home early. And who did win it?
It was Spain. Beat Argentina.
It was Spain. Okay, Spain, Argentina, right? Okay, so that's the most I know. That's it. That's it.
Well, and if what you know out of 10 being the smartest soccer guy on the planet, and if you're like a 1 or a 0.5, I would be like half a point above you. Okay, so
sure.
The only reason I know any rules when it comes to the only reason I know why I know offsides rules in soccer is because I play FIFA on PS5. Great game, by the way. Gameplay is outstanding. Fun as shit to play. Let me just go ahead and say that.
Okay.
But the offsides thing gets you in like son of a bitch. Sure. And so now I know what offsides is. But anything else, I can't. I know even less about hockey, and I've never played a hockey game. But
yeah,
it's once every 4 years I try to watch a little bit, and then I got when the U.S. got bounced by Belgium, they looked really bad after they bitched and moaned, and Trump was bitching. Everyone was bitching and moaning about putting him back on, and they did. FIFA finally did. That's a corrupt organization anyway.
Yes, right.
We need to get a soccer pro in here talking about that organization. Yes, it's really bad. And so, but they do that, and then now it's and then they go get their ass kicked anyway with all their players, and then just like that, no one watches anymore in America.
No one cares. Right. Yeah. I don't know any of the rules. I couldn't tell you what offsides looks like. If you showed me, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it now. But I don't know right now offhand. Yeah. I don't know when or why they do penalty kicks. I don't know why you get a yellow card, red card, whatever. I don't know anything, which is because there wasn't soccer growing up where I'm from in Southern Illinois. Now, you may have been introduced to it, but we didn't have soccer. It was not a thing we didn't care about. Now, having said that, I sure as hell wasn't in the ice skating rinks in Southern Illinois either. But I did get into hockey in the 90s and early 2000s. So I know a little bit about hockey. I have exactly. Gretzky to Red Wings and all that. Like that was a big thing for me from like mid 90s to the mid 2000s or so. But then I just lost interest and I haven't really watched much of it other than part of a game here and there for probably better part of a decade. But soccer never intentionally ever watched anything. The closest I would say is if it's on in a bar or a Mexican restaurant where I'm there, I'll look up and I'll see there's a score, there's teams playing, but I couldn't tell you if it's a meaningful game, where it's being played at, if it's live, if it's the 1988 World Series or whatever. I have less knowledge than anyone I know as far as soccer goes. Like any of my friends, family, whatever. I don't know. Nothing.
I'm not much above you, man. I mean, I'm really not. I played that game a little bit. One last thing here on that game. Speaking of AI, so when we were coming up, we had Nintendos and Sega Genesis and Super Nintendos and those things, right? And the game was just the game. You played the game, and the game was the same no matter when you got on and played it. Right. Now these mofos have integrated AI into it. So you start off on like rookie or whatever it is. And the AI in the game will move you up based on how you played. So then I played like I played like 4 or 5 games and beat teams 2-0, 3-0, 5-0. And it said, you look like you're playing above your skill set. We're going to move you up. And it would move you up to like pro or semi-pro or whatever. And it moves you up based on games. Yeah. So I'm playing professional now because the AI part of the game moves me up. I don't get a choice. It's like, dude, you're not kicking the shit out of these. Remember playing Madden on rookie and you were just beating everyone's ass, right?
Right. Yes.
Not on this game. No. You're moving up and it would move you up.
Funny.
Yeah.
Huh. It's a good thing that they don't do that. This is games like when I'm playing Madden or something like that. I'm never gonna. One time I was playing Colin Dickey's son, Gavin. He was probably 10. He kicked my ass so bad. I
Right.
had 10 interceptions one game, and I was playing with the Patriots, the Tom Brady Patriots, and they're great. And he had just some, mediocre Bears
Yeah.
team or something like that. It was just embarrassingly bad. I'll never
These damn
recover.
kids. These damn kids.
Well, folks, we
That's it.
hopefully entertained you another hour and 5 minutes and 15 seconds. That was a Big 12 preview for 2026. Again, we're going to come back next week with ACC, the SEC, Big 10, and then, of course, our predictions for playoffs and the winner, I should say, of the playoffs. And the next thing you know, it'll be October and we'll be boohooing because we're halfway through the season already. So this is how
It'll
it
happen
goes.
fast.
We complain the season's over in January. It's never going to come, and it ends up it's here already. It's August 5th or 7th, 9th, whatever. And then we're in just like in 2 days, we'll be complaining the season's half over. And then we're looking
Yes.
at, for me at least, 16 feet of snow for the next 6 months. So,
Well, you live in the Arctic, you get snow.
This is
Just the
how
way it is.
life cycle works,
But
right?
sun rises in the east.
Do you think it'll be? Here's my last question I'm going to pose to you. What time of the year will it be? What month will it be when you say, why do I bother watching sports? This is a waste of time. It's too frustrating and irritating. Do you make it to October? Do you say that to perhaps November? Where do you think it's going to fall for you this year?
Game 4 probably when Texas comes to town. And if they're as good as everyone says they're going to be, which everyone says they're going to be good every year, and then they always underachieve because it's Sark or whatever. But a Manning coming in a different uniform in Neyland Stadium and kicking the shit out of Tennessee 35-14 is just poetic. I just feel like it's gonna effing happen. It's just like, God dang it. And
he turns it around.
Yes. Yep. Plays the game of his life. And Peyton's in the stands. He'll be there.
Of course.
Do you cheer? Do you not cheer? At your family, at your school? What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be all over the place. And then every Tennessee fan's going to walk out of there just sick to their stomach because we'll be starting a true freshman probably at quarterback. So we'll see. It could happen as early as game 2, Delaney. You go to Georgia Tech at night down there. You drop that one.
That's right.
I'm already. Yeah, okay. Bring out the basketball team.
You're saying by September 15th, you could be swayed either way, perhaps as early as September 12th or 15th, whatever it is. That
by midnight, the second game, whatever. What is that? The 12th? Yeah,
I think it's the 12th.
September the 12th. By midnight, I could have a very different outlook on the Tennessee season. I'll just say that.
That's fair, and I could maybe echo that because Michigan plays OU at home, Oklahoma. Thankfully.
Yeah.
So the only thing different for me is that this is a whole new era with different coaches, different philosophy, successful other programs, right? And to be honest, like ever since they won a title in 23, like that feeling, it's still like still feel pretty damn good. I don't get it's like you. It's something. It's so satisfying still a little bit,
right?
A little bit, a little bit. But so I would say the Oklahoma game will be like, okay, this is what the season probably will look like, because they also have to play at Oregon, at Ohio State, Indiana at home, Penn State at home. So it's this tough schedule. Like it's not going to be one of those ones like, oh, we're just playing, Utah State this weekend. It's going to be every game is going to be interesting. They play Iowa at home. They play at Minnesota. So there's a couple games in there. They play Rutgers, probably a down Michigan State team. But by and large, if they look like I think they're going to look like, which is pretty good on defense, can probably run the ball pretty well. No idea how they're going to do throwing the ball on the field. They have good receivers.
Right. Yep.
How's Underwood? That's if he's as good as he is. Some of the games he played, as talented, he shows that talent. He's got it between the ears figured out. This is maybe a 10-win team. If not, I mean, I could see this being 7-8 win team. honestly.
Yeah.
Like there's just too many unknowns. But I figure by late September, we'll have a pretty good idea after 4 or 5 games, win or lose, what they're going to look like.
Yeah. Same here.
So
same here. And that OU team's going to have a really good defense. They're going to be elite on defense this year. John Mateer is back for quarterback for them. They're going to be good at quarterback. We'll see kind of, but it's a big year for Venables because he's got all the ingredients to make a run, so he needs to make it happen. You drop that second game at Michigan Stadium, it's going to get really hot really quick on Brent Venables. So it's a big game for him too.
Absolutely.
It's not so big for
that
a winning
helped him
game
last year.
First year.
Yeah.
It did.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a huge game, and the Alabama coming in there and beating them in the playoff game left a bad taste in an OU fans' mouth, man. That's a bitter loss. Consider you beat them earlier, just a few weeks earlier, and then they come into your house and put you out of the playoff. That's a tough one. So that's going to be good. The only thing that sucks, 12:00 kick, the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's just because Fox doesn't understand. Fox doesn't understand what prime time is. They'll never figure it out.
But at least that game's over well enough a time. You could have kicked off at 3:30 and led right into Texas Ohio State that night.
Right, exactly.
Because that's a 7:00 kick in Texas. So
they just maybe it's fine that there's not competing because I want to watch both games, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't at 11 a.m. my time.
Right. Or beer for breakfast, baby. Let's go.
Beer for breakfast, I guess. All right. It's week 2. I can't complain about football being on. What time? It's 3 a.m. I'm going to watch it, so I don't know why I'm complaining.
Right. Yep.
Doesn't matter if it's on Nickelodeon after reruns of Hee Haw or what it is. I'm going to be watching it.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. Right?
Football, baby.
Right. We gave you 15, 16 extra minutes, folks. This is the actual wrap-up. This is Health We Know Podcast. That's Chris. I'm Brian. We'll be back to talk about the ACC next week. Have a great week, everybody.